Yo, what is up, guys? Joker bringing you another video. 3 videos within 2 weeks has to be some kind of a record for me, right? But I am really trying to stay more consistent. This video, we are going over V Rising, an open world survival base building game, a lot like Valheim or Ark or Nightingale, right? Shares a lot of similarities with those games, much like every open world base building survival game does, where that like core gameplay loop is pretty much the same. But how V Rising differentiates itself is in the power system, the progression system, and the fact that you're a vampire, right? You're not a vampire in any of those other games. So this game actually had its official release here on May 8th, and I've been following it in its early access version for the last several years. And when I saw that it hit its 1.0 release on May 8th, I wanted to go ahead and jump back in and give it a shot. So you can pick up V Rising on Steam for 35 bucks, and I have 51 hours played. If you know anything about this channel, you know that I always say how I rate games is $1 per hour, right? If I can get an hour of gameplay for every dollar that I spend, I say that that's a good game, right? At the very least, I like being able to get an hour for a dollar, right? And I've already gotten over that. I have 51 hours in $35, which I'm pretty sure I only paid 20 when it was in early access, but it's $35 now. Um, Majority of people love this game, right? 90% with 80,000 reviews is kind of insane. That has to be some kind of record. There's not very many games that hold a status like that. So if you like the open world survival base building genre, then you're gonna really enjoy this game. It shares a lot of similarities with like ARPGs as well, where it is very hack and slash, right? So if you like that type of gameplay as well, you're going to enjoy it. But let's go ahead and jump into the game and show off a couple of things. So, this is my current character. I have a gear score of 41. I am not level 41. And how that works essentially is your gear is where your power is derived from, right? I have level 4 Marauder and leggings, so essentially the fourth tier of armor. And this is what is giving me not only attack speed, but my health pool. And then my damage is coming from my weapons, right? This is all factored together to show that I do a base damage of, I guess, 24, and we have 480 health. As you can see, if I swap to a much lower level weapon, my damage drops a decent bit. We go down to 16 and a half, and we lose half of our abilities. The base tier of items is going to have a base auto attack, but as you progress, you get more and more abilities. These are going to be your main combat abilities, and they are tied to all of the different weapon types, right? You have the ability of playing pretty much however you would like and use whatever type weapons you like. Apart from that, you have a base dash to make sure that you can go ahead and not instantly die, because if you get cornered by a boss, there is a high chance that you will die. You have 2 spell slots that you can choose from and socket in one of 6 different types of spells, right? Which all have different type of effects. How do you unlock these spells? Well, you unlock these spells by killing bosses. Each time you kill a boss, you're going to get one of the 6 spell points depending on what type of boss you kill. And it's kind of like your introduction to the different types, right? Because the Frost Archer, her mechanics, she's going to use pretty much these abilities, like relatively close to these abilities. So it's like a mini showcase of what you could potentially unlock, as well as you unlock crafting recipes and crafting stations. So that's how the progression works, right? You're going to make your base set of gear, you're going to kill the bosses, whichever bosses that have rewards that you deem useful or you would like, because you do not have to kill every boss, right? It's not like you have to kill every boss in a tier to start killing bosses in the higher tiers. You can just get whatever you want, and there's probably some efficient speed run strategy where you only target one boss in each thing. That way you can like fastly progress. Um, Down here was when I jumped back in. So I was just killing everything because I wanted to see the different boss mechanics, which, by the way, all of the bosses do have different boss mechanics and they do get progressively harder as you progress, right? They're going to start using multiple abilities, they're going to start having mechanics, they're going to start doing a whole bunch of stuff. So really cool progression system where the bosses do get progressively harder. But we went over the progression, we went over your base abilities, we went over your base items. This is what your base is going to generically look like. If we go to the outside, you'll see that I actually have a roof that protects me from the sun. That's because this is a second tier base. If I had a base tier, I wouldn't have a roof, so I'd be vulnerable to the sun. But yeah, then you can do a little bit of taming. You can get some horses, as well as you can mind control humans and use them as slaves, essentially, or blood bags. You can have them set up as prisoners. That way, you have a constant source of high quality blood, which is a good segue into the blood system. This is, in my opinion, the most important system. This is going to be the thing that you want to pay probably the most attention to because it has the most benefit, and that's going to be the blood system. While you're journeying through the world, while you do combat with any living thing that has blood, the reason why I say it like that is if you're fighting skeletons or liches or treants, things like that, things that it really wouldn't make sense for them to have blood, they don't have blood. But if you're fighting like animals, beast, or humans, things that would commonly have blood, then they're going to have a blood type. Creatures have a creature blood type, which essentially, from my understanding, is majority capacity and movement speed based, right? Where essentially it's used for traversing the world, right? Like if you have a creature blood type, its first levels are gonna be like move speed, and then I think it's like carry weight. And then once you get to humans or other combatants, they're going to have multiple types. They're going to have rogue, brood, worker, a whole bunch of different blood types, right? And essentially, they all have different traits with different blood quality. Blood quality is going to go from 0 to 100%, and it's going to unlock more abilities as you get a higher tier blood, where if you have like 0 to 10 or 0 to 20, I believe it's going to be, well, 0 to 19, it's going to be tier 1. If it's 20 plus, tier 2, 30 plus, tier 3, and then it's like 60 plus is tier 4, and then tier 5, a 100% blood boost all of the effective passives, but it's insanely rare. Like in the 50 hours that I played, I probably seen a handful of things that actually had 100% blood, but that's where these prison cells would come into play, where you'd be able to store them, capture them, and store them as essentially a blood bag, right? But as you can see with this rogue blood type, which is combat oriented and the blood quality 98, that I get all of these effects. I get a massive move speed boost. I get a critical strike boost. I have cooldown recovery for my dodge. I have a chance for when I hit a critical that I'm going to make enemies take 15% more damage. And this blood is going to naturally drain over time. It's not like I have the ability of just finding 100% and keeping it permanently. No, it naturally drains over time, as well as your main healing mechanic while you're lower level is called Blood Mend. This is going to use your blood well, and it is going to heal your HP. So you're going to have to pretty much designate if you feel that it is worth it to waste a high quality blood to get you more HP, because it is not full loot, but when you die, you do drop your inventory, and you all of your weapons and shit lose a decent chunk of their durability. So you're gonna really, especially at higher tiers, want to make sure that you die less by carrying like a lot of potions on you and healing cells and stuff like that. But when you're lower level, you're pretty much going to try to have to balance this out, where you go ahead and have to decide, okay, is it worth it for me to waste my high quality blood, because you only have these 10 liters, right? Is it worth it for me to waste high quality blood healing, or is do I just want to give up on this boss fight, run away, go get healing items and come back at a later time, right? And you're going to want to min max it in a way where essentially, if you're just naturally running through the world, you can use low tier quality blood, right? You can go ahead and have like a 5, 10, 20% blood, where it'll pretty much just maybe give you only one benefit. But if you're going into a boss fight or a PvP situation, you're going to want to have the highest quality blood that you can. And that way you have that additional edge. Once again, like I was saying, because the boss fights do get progressively harder, you're going to want to manage that. What else did I want to talk about? We went over the weapons, we went over the crafting, we went over the taming, we went over the blood well. And apart from that, it shares a concept with every other open world base building survival game, like I mentioned, where the core concept of the game is going to be you gathering resources. Oh, also, I'm on a PvP server. That's why I have 3 sets of doors. For people to raid my base, they have to break through all 3 sets of the doors. But main thing that you're going to do, oh, as you can see, rogue, warrior, worker, rogue, right? And then the creature has a creature base. The different items are going to have different affinities. So if I use a mace on a rock, I am going to get 16 stone. If I use a sword on a rock, I am going to get 9 stone. And the same thing applies for wood, right? I don't have an iron axe right now, but if I did, I would gain more wood than I did right there. So you're going to want to carry at least one of each type of gathering item. Let's say you're going on an ore run, make sure you bring a iron mace, a main weapon, and then healing salves, essentially, right? And like sets of potions, stuff like that. um, to prevent myself from ranting, that's pretty much where I'm going to end the video, because the game does do a very good job in the tutorial of like showing you the generic basics in how it works. The last thing I'm going to show is just the servers, right? Like I was mentioning, you have the ability of having online servers where these are going to be primarily the hosted servers. You can host your own dedicated server, rent a dedicated server and set up your own. You can have a private server with your friends. You have different game modes. And then if we go to online play, there's the different team sizes, right? 1 to 4 players, 3 to 4 players. This is the server I'm on, right? 1 to 2 players. But then you would go here and it has the PvE game mode, it has the PvP. And then if you make your own server, you would set up these settings on your own. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm going to end the video. V Rising is a really cool game, especially if you like this genre. Pick it up on Steam for 35 bucks. Like I was mentioning, I was been playing it on stream the last couple of days. Really been enjoying it. Next videos are going to be on Nightingale. They had an update to an offline mode and added a bunch of quality of life. So a lot of similarities to V Rising, that same open world survival game. I'm going to jump in there, check it out, see what's changed, if I can finally recommend it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with this and future content. And until next time, take care.